Hello and welcome back to This Week in New Genre Books. My name is Amelia, and from Locus Magazine we're going to tell you all the new science fiction, fantasy, horror, and related books being published the week of January 7th, 2025. 2025, we are back for the new year. Acid rainstorms, heat, death, alchemy, demon slayers, and dark academia. Sounds about right. First up, science fiction, we have 4 titles. From Lily Braun-Arnold, we have debut novel The Last Bookstore on Earth, out from Delacorte in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult post-apocalyptic novel. After a massive acid rainstorm kills her family, Liz shelters in the bookstore where she used to work, awaiting the bigger storm that may end mankind. From Eiren Caffall, we have All the Water in the World, out from St. Martin's in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a near-future science fiction novel of climate change. 2 sisters and their researcher parents survive in a nearly deserted New York City and protect its precious artifacts until a superstorm floods the city. They flee and find scattered communities that have adapted to survive. From Jen Finelli, we have Neodium Apocalypse Part 2, out from Wordfire Press in trade paperback, hardcover, and ebook. This is a science fiction novel, second part of the Neodium Chronicles, Book 5. The universe is barreling toward heat death. Interdimensional energy beings see matter-based life forms as an energy-consuming plague. But Njandajara, the progenitor energy being, is deeply in love with matter and would gladly give all of himself to save these little worlds. From Michael G. Grumley, we have Cold Storage, out from Forge in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a near-future thriller novel with science fiction elements, the second in the Revival series. Army veteran John Reef is revived in the back of an ambulance on the run from a shadowy organization. He is one of their experiments, carrying a secret that has been in cold storage for several hundred years, and knowledge of an insidious plan that has been in motion for half a century. Next up, horror, we have 1 title. From Clay McLeod Chapman, we have Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, out from Quirk Books in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a horror novel. Noah's parents go from far-right radicalization to violent demonic possession. This affliction is spreading through TV and social media across the country, leading a wave of violence. Next up, fantasy, we have 7 titles. From Charles Stross, we have A Conventional Boy, out from Tor.com in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a collection of a novella and 2 stories in the Laundry Files series. To be clear, the Laundry Files flip-flops between science fiction and fantasy, so this may middle out between the 2 categories, reading like SF, but with a large number of supernatural creatures and some magic. Teen D&D player Derek Riley, in 1984, suspected of satanic connections, is taken by the Laundry to Camp Sunshine. Now middle-aged, he escapes to a gaming convention where he faces the greatest challenge of his life. The 2 added stories feature Agent Bob Howard wrangling with Santa Claus and dealing with the Laundry's secure mental health unit. From Sue Lynn Tan, we have Immortal Out from Harper Voyager US in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy romance novel inspired by Chinese mythology, a standalone set in the world of the Celestial Kingdom series. Li Yen ascends the mortal throne when her grandfather dies, vowing to end her kingdom's obligation to the immortal gods who rule them. She forms a tenuous alliance with the one she should mistrust the most, the ruthless god of war. A treacherous attraction ignites between them, one she has to resist to protect the cause and free her people. From Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee, we have Breath of the Dragon, out from Wednesday Books in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult martial arts fantasy novel, first in the Breath-marked duology, based on characters and themes created by Bruce Lee, about 16-year-old Jun, who, despite not having the special abilities of his twin, dreams of proving his worth as a warrior in the Elite Guardians tournament. From Sean M. McGuire, we have Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear, out from Tor.com in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel 10th in the Wayward Children series. Nadia falls through a door into a water world of child-eating amphibians, giant turtles, and impossible ships. From Heather O'Neill, we have The Capital of Dreams, out from Harper Perennial in hardcover, trade paperback, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel. Sophia, the 14-year-old daughter of a writer in a war-torn country, tries to smuggle her mother's latest manuscript out of the capital, but her train is stopped, the manuscript lost. She wanders the forest searching for it, dealing with the realities of war and some fairy tale encounters along the way. From S.F. Williamson, we have debut novel A Language of Dragons, out from HarperCollins in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a young adult alternate history fantasy novel of dark academia, set in London, 1923. Dragons soar through the skies and protests erupt on the streets, but Vivian Featherswallow isn't worried. She's gonna follow the rules, get a summer internship, be smart, be sweet, and make sure her little sister has a secure future. But by midnight, Viv has accidentally started a civil war. And if you haven't already hit that like button for me, please consider doing so. It supports what we're doing a lot, and we really appreciate it. From Adrienne Young, we have A Sea of Unspoken Things, out from Delacorte in hardcover, ebook, and audio. This is a fantasy novel. After losing her twin brother, James travels to the secluded town of Six Rivers, California, to settle her brother's affairs. There, she is forced to revisit ominous secrets and figure out what her brother was hiding. Finally, in our collections and anthologies category, we have 2 titles. From Dino Buzzati, we have The Bewitched Bourgeois, out from New York Review Books in trade paperback and ebook. This is a collection of 50 stories written by Buzzati over 50 years, many with elements of fantasy and fate, selected and translated from the Italian by Lawrence Finuti. From Robert Hitchens, we have The Return of the Soul and Other Curious Tales, out from Midnight House in hardcover. This is a collection of 8 horror stories, some with supernatural elements, others borderline weird psychological horror. The contents differ substantially from the similarly titled The Return of the Soul and Other Stories, out from Midnight House in 2001. Edited and with an introduction by S.T. Joshi. Includes a bibliography of Hitchens' books. That wraps up this week. If you haven't subscribed already, maybe this is your first time finding us, we'd love to see you again. Please subscribe and turn notifications on so that you're picking up what we're putting down every week. Drop us a comment. We want to know what's on your mind. Come see us on the socials at Locus Mag or at Locus Magazine. We'll keep you posted on what's going on with your favorite science fiction, fantasy, and horror authors, and introduce you to some new ones as well. Locus is a 501c3 nonprofit. It's a hard road, but we choose it every day because we love these books. Thanks for showing your love by spending some of your precious time with us. We'll see you next week with more new books.